Our first speaker is a full-time scuba instructor, tech diver, and underwater photographer based in the Philippines. He is a pioneer of bonfire diving and was among the early practitioners of the Blackwater diving in the country. He is also an avid explorer in the region, visiting and documenting green reefs, caves, and wrecks with colleagues from the Filipino cave divers and the Philtech dive teams. Outside this, he teaches scuba and underwater photo workshops out of his base in Anilao, and he regularly contributes to various online and print publications. Among his notable works include co-authoring The Guide to Anilao, The Legends Beneath the Waves, Philippines, which is also known as the Philippine Wreck Book, and the Plankton visual compilation, Black is the New Blue, Volume 2. Please welcome Ram Yoro. Ram, welcome to the show.
Hi, happy to be here. So happy to see you again after a while, and looking forward to our interesting discussions later.
Yeah, we're happy that you were able to join us in this episode. Our next speaker introduced tech diving to the Philippines in 1993. The same year he founded Philippine Technical Divers. He and his team are known to perform the most peculiar underwater jobs and in harsh conditions. Being at the cutting edge of diving allows him to observe early manifestations of DCS due to their unconventional diving activities and behavior. He has studied and developed procedures for in-water recompression using oxygen. His recompression techniques have been successful in reversing early symptoms of DCS. He is also certified in hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Cave exploration, however, is his true passion. He is a member of the Filipino Cave Divers, an active group of select individuals who apply their various expertise in the study, exploration, and preservation of underwater caves. With a background in geology, he is better able to study, understand, and appreciate the formation and properties of underwater caves. Please welcome Alex Santos. Alex, thank you so much for joining us in this episode.
Very happy to be here, Ran, and hello to everyone who's listening in.
First of all, I would like to ask you, Ram, what is Blackwater diving? Can you please help me understand that, especially those who are watching us who do not have an idea about Blackwater diving?
I get that question a lot, no? So, but basically, Blackwater diving is all about shooting plankton. So when you say plankton, you refer to all the animals in the ocean that live in midwater. So we're normally used to, when we snorkel or when we dive, we go to the reefs, we interact, and we see animals and creatures there, no, that are reef dwelling. So those are not plankton. No? Plankton, they live in the midwater column, and they're normally out in the deep. No? So Blackwater diving, basically we go out to the deeper waters and jump at night. No? At night, because they normally stay in the plankton normally stay in very shallow waters during the daytime, and at night they migrate upwards. No? So at night we go out to deeper waters and jump and hope to encounter these beautiful animals. That's why they call it Blackwater, because you're literally going out at night into the middle of the ocean and jump in pitch black water.
Are the divers free to roam around? Ram, please give us more idea about setup. So when the divers descend, up to which depth, or are they free to roam around? What other considerations? What makes this something that is different from a normal knife dive that we do?
Right. So we normally Blackwater, you get into a boat and ride out into the middle of the bay or the ocean. And normally we bring like GPS or like any sonar equipment to gauge the depth. No, it's normally around like minimum 50 meters or deeper. sometimes 100 meters deep, or even thousands of meters deep in some areas. No? And when we stop, we drop a line bait. It's a long line, about 15 to 20 meters, and we attach lights along the line, and we drop it and let it float. It's attached to a buoy that will carry it. No? So we let it float. We let it cook for a while. No? Because the lights, they attract the plankton to come closer. So after about 15, 20 minutes, more or less, we play it by ear, and we ask the boatman to bring us closer to the light baits. We jump, and then we go down and we look for plankton by the light zone. Regarding depth, we normally just follow our limitations, scuba limitation, recreational depth limits. So that's 40 meters. But if you ask me personally, the best depth to do it, even if it's in really really deep waters, no, the best depth to do it is around 6 to 10 meters. No, I personally just stay at 6 meters and just go down when necessary, because plankton anyway, coming from the depths, they will go all the way up to the surface. No? So most of them will end up near the surface anyway. No? So you can see them at 10 meters, 20, 30, 40. But if you're patient enough and you just wait at 6 meters, you will end up meeting them in the shallow waters. No? So that's how we do it. No? We just, because it's in the middle of the ocean, we try to stay as close as possible to the light baits. Because if you swim a little bit farther, no, you lose the light, no, and you lose your orientation, and basically you become a lost diver. You don't want that to happen. So we stay within the light zone of the light baits. We can swim around as long as you don't lose the lights. No? And if you happen to find yourself a little bit far from the light, make sure you come back before you lose it. No? I'm sure you've heard of stories before. In the early days of Blackwater, we're not yet very familiar with the protocols. We haven't really nailed down how to go about it properly. And most of the time we end up like losing the light, and we'll just have to cut the dive short and surface, and then reset again. So you don't want that.
So I'm now getting the impression that probably I could be wrong, but most of those divers that are attracted to blackwater diving are also underwater photographers, simply because they wanted to photograph planktons. And could you also say what other marine lives can be enjoyed and can be photographed?
The main appeal of Blackwater is with underwater photographers, because most of the plankton, because of the inherent nature of their environment, no, imagine from birth until they die, they live in the midwater column, and because of that, they develop like special physical attributes and characteristics that we are not used to seeing. So, like for instance, number one, a lot of them are transparent, because in the midwater column, no, to avoid predation from visual predators like sharks, whale sharks, manta rays, the filter feeders. These are tiny, by the way. They want to be transparent, to be invisible. And next, because they have to float all their lives, no, they usually have like very distinct, elaborate pectoral dorsal fins, no, that make them look like underwater peacocks, are very beautiful, to be able to manage float for hours, days, months, weeks, years at a time. No? So because of that, they're naturally very beautiful subjects for underwater photographers. But even aside from underwater photographers, there have been a lot of other non-photographers who are keenly interested in the activity because of the scientific nature of it. No? This plankton, like we mentioned earlier, we're not really used to seeing them or encountering them. They have a very big appeal to the scientific community as well. So sometimes we have like friends from the scientific field, no, who are divers and they want to join, but they're not photographers, because they want to witness firsthand what their specimens look in the natural environment, no? Because they're used, for example, to seeing like this zoea. It's a larval crab. No, they're used to seeing that under the microscope or in books, but they haven't seen that with their own eyes. So they come with us they come with us to be able to have a different experience with these creatures that they're studying. So while we shoot, they look. No? And very rarely we have some divers also, non-photographers who want to join just for the thrill of it. No? So just imagine you come out in really pitch black water, no light source, nothing, no? And you know it's very deep, no? And then you jump, and then you don't see the bottom, you don't see the surface, and nothing around you. No? It's just black, pure black, and all marine debris floating. No? You're like in outer space. No? So some guys also just join the activity just for the thrill of it, no? To enjoy it. No? But majority, I would say, are underwater photographers.
Now I'm excited to try.
Yes.
Before
Yeah,
this,
the appeal is with underwater photographers right now. But I really believe in the not so distant future, it will become mainstream. Like even for underwater photographers before, Blackwater was considered like an extreme variant of underwater photography. But today it's just like one of the activities or for underwater photography. And I think in the not so distant future when diving goes full blast again, it may actually really become like as normal as your reef dives.
off the cam, while we were still talking to each other, I asked Alex if he already did blackwater diving. Alex, did Ram was able to convince you now to try it soon?
I've been trying to yank him to join us forever.
You know what? The truth is, I don't need any convincing. I've been meaning to go with Ram for the longest time. It's just a matter of trying to clear my schedule to be able to actually do it. But it's come to this point now where all I do is promise that I would go, and I haven't for as many years that we've been planning to. And the sad part is, it was just about a week when I had nothing to do in between projects, and I asked Ram if I could tag along, only to realize that he left without telling me.
Oh, don't do that again. Yeah.
So
Alex, I
we
will
have
join you next time when Ram
I will make
invite you.
amends. I will make
Yeah.
amends.
yes, yes. Payback is going to be heavy, but the amends will definitely be coming.
Yeah. Now let's go
But
back.
very interesting also, just to add a little bit no,
Yeah, sure.
what
Go
I
ahead, please.
experienced with Alex. Because he does a lot of caving, wrecks, and deep dives because I seem to tech. Even before I was really active with blackwater diving, he would tell me stories about seeing stuff in caves and when doing decompression stops in his deep dives. No? And these turned out to be like also blackwater subjects. Like I remember, Al, you were telling me this Venus girdle that you videoed while doing a decompression stop in Basura. And
Guys,
inside
yes,
Paglugaban Cave, there were like tinophores or comb jellies as big as like a basketball. And you had clipped them. So yeah, these are blackwater subjects also. And interestingly, we don't only see them at night. No? We're realizing that there are a few of them also in daytime. And just to add, just to butt in, the activity is evolving. It used to be blackwater because it's a nighttime activity, right? Now, some guys in Japan have already started what they call a blue water underwater photography. It's basically the same thing, except they do it in the morning.